Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome to all the devotees for this morning value class. And sometime I also come to this class and I feel very enlightening, and it's very nourishing for my spiritual life as well. So today we'll discuss something on the forgiveness. This is my presentational work from one of my assessment in Bhakti Vedanta, and I made my research. So my topic today is forgiveness, the lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam. In detail, we'll learn about these things. Actually, I would say the first thing, today we will learn the common theme which we find, the common thread that we find in Srimad Bhagavatam. And today we'll learn the quality of forgiveness from Krishna. So this is session 1. So I made a 3-session presentation. If given a chance in the next new coming sessions, I'll discuss about in detail about the process and guidelines for offering forgiveness and the process or guidelines for seeking forgiveness. As Prabhupada mentions in his purport very much more than 100 times, that advancing in devotional service means developing spiritual qualities. The more you're advancing, the more you develop spiritual qualities. And when we have these value classes, we are learning about qualities, we are learning about values, how we can put them into our practical application in our behavior. The first thing is any quality is a tool or a method to make you more Krishna conscious, or rather when you become more Krishna conscious, you develop more qualities. So the goal is, first thing, the goal is to become Krishna conscious. Prabhupada would say, which strike me very much, any practice without goal is useless. You're doing some practice and there's no goal. And sadhana means what? Sadhana means we are aiming for Krishna. We want to reach to Krishna. That is why in many of the lectures, Prabhupada would say at the end, specifically, that make your life perfect and go back home, back to Godhead in this very lifetime. Almost I've seen in most of the lectures, Prabhupada would end his lecture by saying, the goal is you have to go back to Godhead. And one time I know one incident in New Vrindavan. A devotee asked Prabhupada, this Maya is very strong. Prabhupada said, actually Prabhupada became very angry with the question. Prabhupada said, Maya is not strong. Your purpose in your life is not strong. When you have a strong purpose, Maya will not be strong, especially spiritual purpose, obviously. When your purpose is to become Krishna conscious, then Maya will not be strong. If you have that one single pointed determination to be Krishna conscious, then Maya will not be strong. So let us discuss today. I'll discuss the point number 1 and point number 2 in my presentation today. And I want this class to be very interactive. It's an interactive session, and I would request the students to be participating, which the questions, the brainstorm that we do during this presentation. And I'll leave 10 minutes for the question answer at the end, 10-15 minutes if you have some questions. So let us start. Just like we know, to err is human and to forgive is divine is a common saying. Perennially is an important topic, because if one is little honest, he can realize the fact that he or she makes mistakes, and he can also realize this fact that others are also making committing mistakes towards us. So that's how it becomes very important and essential topic, especially in the devotee community. And my presentation, the tools, the broad pattern, and the method or process or the guidance which I'll be sharing in this presentation today, the idea is to give you, though giving forgiveness or offering forgiveness, both are challenging, both are difficult. But the idea is to give you the perspective from Bhagavatam. We have so many self-help books, life books on forgiveness in the market you may find, but this presentation is only from the Bhagavatam, and this presentation is for the practicing devotees, and the tools, the method, or the guidance which I've used is for the reasonable people, for the those who are having reasonable abilities. We live in a world where people are, you know, uh, puffed up because of power and so many so forth. So the method doesn't apply there. This is for the reasonable people with reasonable abilities. The tools of the method which I've used in the presentation. This is 3-day seminar. So uh, it is for reasonable people. You know, it doesn't apply to all. And the method and tools can be applied to non-devotees also, and for the devotees audience. But the way, the manner, and the behavior will be different when you deal with the non-devotees. So let us start today. To err is human and to forgive is divine. In the Bhagavatam, when I was making a research on the topic, I found Bhagavatam is full of stories with the stories of failures. You know, you name any incident, most of them, I won't say all the, most of the incidents is the stories of failure. You say Jad Bharat, you say Ajamil, you know, Sobri Muni, so many stories. It's filled with the failures. I won't call it just a failure. There's a recovery afterward. You name any personality, there's a stumbling and there's a recovery. Instead of failure, I've used the word stumbling here. Stumbling means one who slips away. If Bhagavatam is just a story with full of failures, it would be very depressing. So it's just not a failure, it's a recovery. So I found 3 things, the 3 common thread in the most of the major stories in the Bhagavatam. Stumbling, a devotee stumbles, slips away from the devotion service, and then he has a response. He prays to the Lord for the recovery. And that's how we find so many prayers in the Bhagavatam. It's full with the glorification of the Lord, the prayers of the devotees, so that we can read them and get purified. And there's a later recovery from that stumbling or the failure. So now there's a one brainstorm. Now I would like to call out some responses from you. Call out any, now we'll churn out as many as examples from the Bhagavatam and distill them into a common method that we find in the Bhagavatam. So can you give me any examples from the Bhagavatam where you find the devotee stumbles and they recover? And now the devotee can take maybe 10 seconds to just ponder, and we'd like to take your response thereafter. So think of as many examples in the Bhagavatam. That's how you'll get an idea what is Bhagavatam all about. And you can give me any example from any canto, canto 1 to 12. It's whole story from the failures. Yes. Maharaj Parikshit. Your voice is too low.
Jayati.
Yayati, Maharaj Parikshit, the source of whole story, Maharaj Parikshit, he stumbled, and we know the whole snake story. And Yayati, yeah, he wanted his youth back. And what else?
Hare Krishna.
I want
Ajamil.
Ajamil, very, very classic example, very bright example from the Bhagavatam. And the devotee who stumbles in the devotion's path, or any Indra more than once. Indra is not once, is more than once. A very good example. Anybody else? Yeah. I'm saying from the Bhagavatam, because this entire presentation is dedicated to the Bhagavatam. I think we have some noise going on. Brahma, yes, Brahma.
Bharat Maharaj.
Bharat Maharaj. Yeah, in one sense, Priyavat also, because he was confused.
Yeah.
And what else? Maybe we can take 1 or 2 more examples just to give an idea what the Bhagavatam is all about.
Can we give example of Dhruv Maharaj, Prabhuji?
Yeah, he stumbles because of the Rakshas. His brother got killed and he wanted to take a revenge. And the Sambur Manu have to come and intervene just to stop Dhruv Maharaj. Okay, so now see, we have the classic example that you gave, Ajamila. He married a prostitute and he lost all Brahminical qualities. He was a very good Brahmana. Bhagavatam describes his early youth life, but he got attracted to a prostitute and then he lost all his Brahminical qualities. Somebody didn't give this example, but this is Chitraketu. He commented on Lord Shiva and that got split, became a Vitasur. He got a low sinful family of demon. And we see the Bharat Maharaj. So all the three cases, Ajamila, I'll speak one by one. His recovery took one lifetime. I mean, in the same lifetime. He stumbled in the beginning of his life, in the youth, and he recovered by the end of his life. We know Vishnu Dutas came and then he went to Haridwar and he resumed his devotional service and finally he had gone back to college. Then we have Chitraketu. His life recovery took 2 lifetimes basically. Next life he became a Vitasur and was he killed by Indra and then he finally went back to college. And we know the Bharat Maharaj, his life recovery took 3 lifetimes. Bharat Maharaj, Deer, and Jadbharat. But finally he recovered from this stumbling. So we have many more examples from the Bhagavatam. Just a minute. We have Daksha, he stumbled because of his proud. We have Indra, that's more than once. Nalkuver Manigri, no need to tell the story, you already know. Brahma, Durvasa Muni in the Bhagavatam, we know. Vyasadeva also, he was confused what to do after writing all the Vedic literature before he wrote the Bhagavatam. And Parikshit Maharaj, somebody called it. Dhruva with the Rakshas, yes, Mataji. Prachina Parishad, Sabri Muni. So what we see in the Bhagavatam, all the cases of just devotees are stumbling, that's how we say every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. So even the great personality, they stumble. What to speak of us? Now, in my case studies, when I was preparing for this research work, I found there are many, one of the consequences of stumbling is devotee give curses. I mean, the personality give curses, not necessarily the devotees. I could find the 3 types of curses. This is one of the consequences. There are many. I'm just discussing one. There are predictive curses I found in Bhagavatam, which predict about the future event. And just like the Yadus, it was a plan of the Lord and the curse facilitated that plan. There were revengeful curses, just like the combative curses between Daksha's party and this Lord Shiva's party, Rigu Munis and the followers of Lord Shiva. They were cursing each other. And there were curses which are not curses, but they are blessing in disguise. That is how the Nalkuver and Mani grieve. Though Narad Muni gave a curse, but it was blessing in disguise. Now, this is the most important part. When we look at so many examples in the Bhagavatam, and we say the Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. Krishna Swadhama Purate Dharma Jnana Dhivi Saha Kalor Nashta Disha Mesha Puranarko Adunodita. So Bhagavatam is trying to impress something us with. Even the Krishna is trying to impress something us through Bhagavatam, and it is worth looking closer at. So Bhagavatam is giving us every possible psychological condition, because we find somebody is stumbling in the early of his life. I'll discuss that in the next slide. So Bhagavatam is giving us every possible psychological condition. Bhagavatam is telling us the method of recovery, how you can recover. It is also showing the quality of devotee who recovers. How does he go through the struggles? How does he get his realizations, and then he come out of the stumbling situation? And the response of the devotees, how devotees respond after they stumble and they recover. After devotees they stumble, the response is different. After devotees recover, the response is different. And we see at the end the ever more glorious recovery. When a devotee recovers or personality recovers, they have new energy. They are more enthused, they are more dedicated now, they're more fixed up and focused in devotion service, and they have a new energy when they recover. So we see the personality stumbling differently in the Bhagavatam. Man stumbles differently, they fall differently. Women fall differently, just like Diti. And we see the king stumbles differently. We find Brahmana stumbles differently. We find somebody stumbling in the early age, somebody stumbles in the later age. So this is every possible psychological condition which Bhagavatam is trying to impress us with. Now let us start with, this is the most important part, and I would say after few slides, seeing the Krishna's quality of forgiveness, we will all fall in love with Krishna. At least I become very attracted how Krishna is all forgiving. And now from the slides onwards, we'll try to discuss something about Krishna, how Krishna exemplifies the quality of forgiveness. Because Krishna demonstrates this quality of forgiveness, he demands from his devotees to exemplify the same quality, to set the same model. We know in the Bhagavatam, 6th canto, when the Yamdutas and Vishnudutas, they're conversing. So Yamdutas, they ask a question to Vishnuduta, who are you? And where you came from? So Vishnudutas, Prabhupada writing in the Prabhupada that everyone must know whom he is representing. As a Krishna conscious devotees, we must know whom we are representing. And Prabhupada writes, every Krishna conscious devotee, he must know he's representing Krishna. So when we're preaching, we are representing Krishna. We are conveying his message. So we have to exemplify the same quality as Krishna depicts or demonstrates. And now onwards, we'll try to take inspiration from Krishna, his behavior, how Krishna deals with his devotees and different personalities and how he forgives them. And it's a very nature of Krishna to be forgiving. I found this quote from 3rd canto, which struck me very much, and I would like to share. And the Prabhupada is a real poet. He's writing something in a poetic manner or in a prose. So Prabhupada writes, the Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entities and awards him the highest reward. That is the standard of Krishna's character. He accepts the least qualification of the living entity and awards him the highest reward. That is the nature. Actually, one devotee said, he said one time, Krishna is unique. His every part and parcel is unique. Everyone is made unique in the world. And Krishna has a relationship with each and every unique living entities. That is his standard. He accepts the least qualification and awards the highest reward. The 3rd canto. Now, just one thing. If I say about forgiveness from the Bhagavad Gita, which verse? Since I've seen, I was told there are many Bhakti Shastri students who are studying Bhagavad Gita. If I say about forgiveness, which verse comes to your mind from the Bhagavad Gita? The bright verse which directly speaks about the forgiveness. So can I have your responses? Will like to call out your responses on the same question? Which verse might come to your mind the first when Krishna speaks about forgiveness? Can you speak a little loudly? I can't hear you. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Prabhuji, Kanti, she's saying Kanti. Is that the word you?
I want a verse from the Bhagavad Gita which speaks about forgiveness, where Krishna is speaking about forgiveness. A very bright verse, very common verse, oftenly quoted many times. A verse from the Bhagavad Gita which speaks about the quality of Krishna's forgiveness.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Oh, nobody. Yes,
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes. Is it Abhayam Sattva
Yes.
Sanshadhi?
Abhayam, yeah, it's there, but a very common verse very direct words where Krishna directly speaks about his colleague forgiveness. Okay, I'll tell you the verse. Apiche Sudracharo. I almost, if you heard this verse, Apiche Sudracharo, Hudantema Ananyabha. So in this, I've just read about the commentary from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on the same verse. You know, the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he has a style to write his commentaries. He expresses Krishna's inner mood, and he expresses the inner mood of Arjuna also. So Arjuna asks the questions. I'm not telling the whole comment. I will not written here whole. So Arjuna asks this question: what if a devotee makes repeated mistakes? And then Krishna replies. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Krishna replies, if a devotee makes mistakes repeatedly, commits mistake repeatedly, then if a devotee thinks like this, that I'm such a fallen and because of me, the whole Vaishnava community is embarrassed, then if devotee has such an attitude, then Krishna will forgive him again and again. Now Arjuna asks this question, which is there on the slide. I mean, this is a whole conversation going on. Then Arjuna answers, however, if a devotee is sinful right up till his death, what is his position? Then Krishna replies, Krishna then encourages the worried, lamenting Arjuna. Oh, Kaunteya, going to the squabbling assembly where people are talking, gossiping about the devotee's bad quality. So you go to the squabbling assembly with the tumultuous sound of drums, throwing your hands in the air, you should fearlessly declare this, that which is the next verse. Kaunteya Pratijaniya, Name Bhakta Pranashti, my devotee would never perish. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti writes. Krishna forgives every time the devotees, if devotees have the proper attitude. Now, this is from the 6th canto, when Yamadutas and Vishnudutas, they're conversing. Yamadutas, they said, Veda Pranahito Dharmo. What is Dharma? Dharma means what is described in the Vedas. And Veda says, for the quality of work, if the work has to be quality, has to have a quality, then both the intention and action should be right for the quality of work. Actually, they reported to Yamaraj because they knew that Dharma means which is described in the Vedas, and Veda says for the quality of work, both the action and the intention should be right. Actually, that is Bhakti. Bhakti means your intention is right towards Krishna, your action is right towards Krishna, you're actually serving Krishna, and you have intention to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. That is Bhakti. So, but Yamaraj, who's a Mahajan, he said, Dharmam su sakshat bhagavad panitam. This is a verse which Prabhupada has quoted 1,000 times. Dharmam su sakshat bhagavad panitam. He says, no, Dharma means whatever Krishna does is called Dharma. Whatever has been explained by Krishna, enunciated by Krishna, it is called Dharma. It is up to Krishna whether he can accept only action, reject the intention, or he can accept the intention, reject the action. Now, I'll discuss the most important part of our presentation, which is my finding. I heard from different devotees, made my own analysis, research into it, and we found the 4 case studies. And I guarantee after knowing these 4 case studies, you'll all fall in love with Krishna. You will actually get to know the standard of Krishna's character, which Prabhupada said in 3rd canto. What is Krishna's character? So now, can you think of some examples where intention of a personality of a person is good and intention of a person is good and the action is bad, and Krishna accepts the intention of a person and rejects his action? Maybe hard for you to just, I'll again repeat the question, where Krishna accepts the intention. Person has done something with good intention, but his action was bad. His action was bad. And Krishna accept the intention and reject the action. Do you have such an example in the Bhagavatam?
Prabhuji, Putana.
Putana
sorry, opposite.
Putana is reverse. Is a reverse. Because her action was good. Vidurani is okay. Vidurani. I would say Vidrani is okay. Vidra, how do you say? His intention is good, action is bad. Vidurani is a good example. She was, feeding Krishna. Yes?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I don't know whether this is right, but
yes,
Mother Yashoda, when she was boiling, when the milk was over boiling, her action was very good,
Yeah.
So she ran to pick up, and stop that milk over boiling. But Krishna was very angry because the action was wrong. The intention was good.
Prabhuji, can we take?
That's a very correct answer.
Can we take the example of Shabri? She was touching the fruit with mouth before offering it to Krishna.
Okay, yeah, in that sense you can say it's a correct example. So now I'll share some of the examples. Bhishma Dev. After that, I'll give you more examples. Bhishma Dev. His intention is to serve Krishna by his chivalrous, the VIHE Ras mellow, but the action is actually he's throwing arrows at Lord. Vidurani, she's feeding Krishna with banana peels. Intention was right, but the action was wrong. Though it was not in offense, but in that the action was not proper. So we have many examples. Chitraketu, though he's fighting with Indra, his intention is to go back to Godhead, and he's fighting with the devotees of the Lord. Vritasur, Chitraketu, Sudama, he was carrying a broken rice, but he had kept it under his armpit, and he fed the same rice to the Lord. Though I found one example which is very appropriate, but it's not from Bhagavatam, just to give an idea about the Govinda. When he stepped over the Lord to massage the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, stepping over the Lord, the action was not good, but he had the intention to serve Mahaprabhu because the Lord was sleeping on the doorway. So in that case, Krishna accepts the intention and reject the action. So this is one case study. Now the second. How does Krishna deal with the devotees? Someone who has a bad intention, but his action is good. Just like somebody quoted Putna already. Putna had a bad intention. She came to kill Krishna, but the action was good because she came as a mother. She came as a mother to feed Krishna, but she had smeared poison on the breast. So that's one case, Putna. Anybody else has some other example?
Duryodhan also wanted to feed Krishna. Duryodhan.
Duryodhan, yes, Duryodhan. Intention is bad, action is good, okay.
Hare Krishna, Duryodhan sending Pandavas to Lakshagra.
Okay. Duryodhan is there, he's already got it. So now I'll share some of the more examples because we have very less time. Ajamila is a classic example. Nobody caught it. He chanted the holy name of the Lord. Action is good. He actually chanted the name of Narayana, but intention was bad. He was actually calling his son. So that sense, the intention was bad, but the action was perfect. He actually chanted the name of the Lord. And now let us look at the third case study. Think of some example where intention is also bad and action is bad. Now we'll tell you how does Krishna deal with such a person who has a bad intention and bad action. Give me any example. It's a very common
Kamsa.
Kamsa, very good. Bad intention, action is bad.
Shishupal.
Shishupal.
Hiranyakashipu.
Or Hiranyakashipu. Practically all the demons that we find in Braj Leela, all the demonic people which Krishna has to deal with. See, I'll give you two case studies just to give an idea. How does Krishna deal? We have the Kaliya demons in Vrindavan. Yeah. So we have Kaliya and Indra. Indra had a bad intention, and Krishna was forbidding Nanda Maharaj not to perform yajna for Indra, rather perform the puja for worship of the Govardhan hill. Indra had a bad intention. He wanted to kill the Brajvasis, and he actually did it. He brought all the Samvata clouds, and then we know all the story there. And Kaliya also, we know, bad intention, I'm just giving this 2 case studies just to give an idea of the demons. How does Krishna deal with them? So Kalia had a bad intention, and his action was also bad. He was fighting with Krishna actually, and he was very angry. So now, in such a case, as soon as if you make a request, as soon as you make a request, Krishna will forgive you. So here we see the case of Indra. After he got realized that I've done something wrong, he's Krishna, Supreme Person regarded. He brought himself along the Surbi cow, and then he requested for the forgiveness. And he made a very specific statement for his forgiveness. This is what wrong I've done, and please forgive me. Same about Kali also. He begged for the forgiveness. So if intention is bad, and action is also bad, Krishna will forgive you still if you come and ask for forgiveness. Now, there's a one thing where Krishna does not forgive. There's one thing where Krishna does not forgive. It's very frightening for us also. Oh, Krishna doesn't forgive. Can you tell me something where Krishna does not forgive us?
Vaishnava Bharat.
Vaishnava Aparadh. Oh, then one who commits Vaishnava Aparadh is the Krishna has taken his agency away from him. No, even one has done the Vaishnava Aparadh. Krishna may not forgive him. Now listen very carefully. Krishna may not forgive him. Krishna will not forgive him actually. But in such a case also, Krishna directs the person so that he can be rectified. His offense can be nullified. We find a classic example in the Bhagavatam about Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. Though Durvasa Muni committed a direct offense towards a Vaishnava, a devotee of Ambarish Maharaj, we know, and he was running here to Brahma, to Lord Shiva, and many other personalities. He finally went to Vishnu also. Vishnu did not forgive him. But Krishna or Vishnu, in such a case also, directed the person, oh, you go to Ambarish, then beg for forgiveness. Krishna didn't forgive himself, but at least in that sense, Krishna gave him the direction, how you can be forgiven. So this is Krishna's quality of forgiveness. You're such a sinner. I think one devotee gave a seminar on this topic. We cannot do any abominable act that Krishna will forsake us. He will not leave us anyway. He will not take the agency from the living entities. So a living entity cannot do such an act where Krishna will say, "Oh, I have to leave you now." You know, a living entity cannot commit such an act where Krishna has to leave the person. So now this is the only quality. This is very important. This is, I think, those who are maybe who are doing Bhakti Vaibhav, or maybe who have read the 3rd canto. This alone's quality of Krishna's forgiveness, quality of forgiveness in Krishna, shines Krishna's other quality. Now let's speak, when Vidura, he met Uddhava, I think Matthew, yeah, maybe Matthew. So, and he wanted to, if I'm forgiven, I mean, a mistake. Vidura Matthew, Uddhava. Then he asked him to describe something about Krishna. The first thing Uddhava remembered about Krishna, he knew many things about Krishna. The first and the foremost thing that Uddhava remembered that time, although he was not present when this pastime happened, he spoke this verse from the 3rd canto. Aho bakiyam sanakala kutam jikam saya papayat apyasadhi leve gatim datri chitam tato. I think somebody is speaking. Kam va dayalum sharanam vajema. Somebody mic is on. If you can mute yourself. Thank you so much. Though Uddhava was not present when this pastime happened, but he remembered the first thing about Krishna, this quality of forgiveness. That Krishna is such a forgiving person. The Putna came though she came as a mother to kill Krishna, but Krishna placed her on the level of a mother in the spiritual world. So now, this is a very important thing. How does this quality of forgiveness shines Krishna's other quality, or rather I can say vice versa, other way around. If Krishna lacks this quality, we may be attracted to Krishna, but will not be able to follow Krishna. If Krishna has all the 6 opulences, but he lacks forgiveness, we may not be able to, will not be able to follow Krishna actually. I'll give you an example. If one is all strengthful, he has the strength of all the world, he's supremely powerful. If one is very powerful and he's not forgiving, a moment mistake, if you commit a mistake just for even a little mistake if you make, then you're gone, you're finished. The person will be very scary. Someone is very powerful and is not forgiving. Similarly, if someone is very beautiful, is not forgiving, so he may be a trap to attract you, but a moment mistake again, you're done. Similarly, if one is very knowledgeable, and knowledge is a deadly weapon, you may be attracted to Krishna, but a moment mistake again, you're done. So this alone's quality of Krishna, which shines others' quality. If Krishna lacks forgiveness, will not be able to follow Krishna. We may be attracted still. So now many religious institutions, there's two school of thoughts, and many religions institution or many religions you find in the world today, they have one of these parts or something in between also. They say the God, we say Krishna here, they say the God is extreme judge. There's a doomsday and you are given punishment. The Lord says on the dais and it will be decided what has to be done with you. There's a doomsday. They think the God is either two extremes. The Lord is extremely a strict person, a judge. If you make a mistake, you have to pay for it. Or the other school of thought is the Lord is unconditionally merciful. Whatever you do, the Lord will forgive you. You commit sin and you confess, the Lord will forgive you. There's two school of thoughts. The Lord is extremely merciful and the Lord is extremely strict. He's a supreme judge. But what we see in the Bhagavatam, Krishna never operates on the extremes. Whenever Krishna punishes someone, he has a reason. And whenever Krishna forgives someone, he also has a reason. So Krishna, what we see in the Bhagavatam, never operates on the extremes. Sorry. I give one example. Sometimes people say, Krishna is extremely merciful. Actually, Krishna is extremely, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, he's the ocean of mercy. But his forgiveness has a reason. Just like I give one example, I studied in my course of research for preparing this slide. We have a child rearing. The child psychologist, they say, if you don't create boundaries for your child, some rules, or don't do this bad thing, then initially it is good for the child. You have given full freedom to the child, you do whatever you do. But at the later stage, the child develops the attitude, then I'm being neglected, I'm being not cared by my parents, because when I was doing something wrong, they didn't bother about stopping me, So initially it's good for the child. My parents are very, liberal, but that same child in the later stage starts to develop hatredness for the parents and negative feelings for the parents because they are not very careful about it. So similarly, Krishna is not a liberal parent in that sense. He's a liberal parent basically, but he doesn't, allow to do anything. I'll forgive you. You don't care about that. So whenever Krishna forgives, he has a reasons. Krishna considers in the Bhagavatam what we have seen. When somebody has done wrong or has committed a mistake, Krishna considers the attitude of the person, the response of the person. Then if Krishna wants, he has done different arrangement. Sometimes he has given partial punishment, sometimes he has given full punishment, sometimes he has forgiven, depending on the response of the devotees. Because, now there's a third point, because Krishna has a very responsible job. He's very responsible for the living entities. First thing, not only he has to build relationship with the living entities, second thing is he has to make them improved, so that the living entities can be raised from his lower level to higher levels, so that he has to act in certain ways where he can work, he can arrange this basically for the improvement of the living entities, for the conditioned soul who are trying to approach Krishna basically, and who are on the conditioned state. So not only Krishna has to build a relationship with us, he has to improve us. That's how he has done different. So Lord is not a strict judge, neither is a strict judge, neither is completely merciful. He has a reason for his response. Sometimes can be merciful, sometimes can be strict. We have seen in the Bhagavatam, different cases. Now, this is the most important. This is the most important part, and if you just understand this one, you'll be very happy and very satisfied what's happening in life. Krishna is intentionally reticent. Reticent means he doesn't reveal his plan. So I would say, in other words, Krishna is not a good communicator. He's not a good communicator. In that sense, you can understand. All the pure devotee understands the plan of the Lord. But those who are in conditioned state, it's very hard to understand Krishna's intention. What he's trying to do with me? When I was reflecting on this philosophical point, basically, I was saying to Krishna, I was just praying to Krishna, if Krishna can let me know three things, I can joyfully go through any situation in my life and I'll be very satisfied and happy. Oh, Krishna, first let me know whatever situation, in terms of adverse situation, let me know why you have given me this situation, why you have put me into this situation. Second, what is your purpose? When this problem will be over? And why you have given this problem to me? Or is it you have given this problem to me? Let me know if you have given me this problem, what is your purpose, and this problem will be over. Actually, Krishna generally does not reveal these three things to us. I think somebody's mic is on. Krishna does not reveal these three things. We don't know who has given me this problem. Maybe it is Krishna, maybe it is, we don't know, it is Maya Devi, maybe it is Krishna, maybe it is because of my karmas, maybe this person has given me this problem, we blame this person and that person. So we don't know, first thing, who has given me this problem. Second, we don't know what is if you're going through some problem in life. Second thing, what is the purpose of this problem? We don't know. And third thing is, when this problem will be over, we think, okay, it is eternal. So Krishna doesn't reveal these three things generally, because that's a way a conditioned soul improves. I think in the next one, no. See, what is the common response, general response? When a problem comes, someone has done some wrong to you, what's a common response? Or this person has done some wrong to me, he has wronged me, So we blame the person. That's the first category. Second category, if a person is more elevated, he blames his own karmas. I'm suffering because of the karmas. And first thing is, I'm suffering because of this person. He has given me this suffering. Third thing, what we see in the Bhagavatam, the pure devotee, how they think. They think this problem has been given by Krishna. So there are three responses. I'm suffering because of this person. I'm suffering because of my karmas. I'm suffering because of Krishna. Basically, Krishna has given me this problem. So in that sense, Krishna is not a good communicator. Why? Because he wants you to go through such an experience, because that experience is required for you to get purified, so that you feel that helplessness. You feel that dependence on the Lord. Such an experience is required for you. That's how Krishna arranges many situations in life. Probably maybe we are thinking we are suffering, and we sometimes may blame the Lord also. I'm doing your bhakti, but you're not giving your favor to me. So Krishna is intentionally reticent. He hides his intention. So that's an experience, just to create an experience for us, so that we can go through such challenges, such a situation, and we can finally improve and then go back to that and reach Krishna basically. And this is our duty as a preacher also, to make Krishna trustworthy, trustable. This is our preaching. Though Krishna is not a good communicator, but based on our experience and realization, we are telling, though Krishna is not a good communicator, but still he has worked this way in my life, and he will help you out also. He will help you out also. So that's one thing. So after knowing this, Krishna hides his intention, you'll be very satisfied in any situation, but he has a very good reason for us. So this is what described in Bhagavatam. Shamaya rochate Lakshmi, Ami Sori Yatha Prabha, Shaminam Ashu Bhagvamsa, Tushate Haririshvara. The duty of a Brahman is to culture the quality of forgiveness, which is illuminating like the sun. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari is pleased with those who are forgiving, because Krishna exemplifies this quality and he wants his devotee to demonstrate the same quality of forgiveness. So here we have tried to give you some inspiration from Krishna, how Krishna exemplified, demonstrate and manifest this quality when he was there in the world, or may not be, he was in the spiritual world. So that is, I described the 3 levels of consciousness: blaming other, I'm suffering because of karma, and Krishna is a doer. So I think I'd like to end here. We have 8 minutes for the question answers, 7 minutes now. So if you have any questions, you can ask now. Otherwise, I'll show you something of the second seminar or third seminar. So this is a 3-day seminar series. I've been given permission for 1 day only. If given a chance, if the next coming session, I'd like to speak on what is the method, process to offer forgiveness to someone from the Bhagavatam that we learn. What are the guidelines, the broad pattern that we see in the Bhagavatam. And third thing is the guidelines and process, the broad pattern for seeking forgiveness, seeking and offering. There are 2 different sessions. So far, we have, you have any question, you can ask now. And to my best ability, I would like to respond to you. Any question? Otherwise, I'll just give you otherwise. I have a short slides of my second and third session to give an idea what I'll be discussing.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Please
Yes,
go ahead,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
I don't know, it's one by one. I'll stop my slide sharing so I can face you. Just a minute. Okay, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Please ask your question, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Please ask your question.
Hare Krishna. There was one question in the chat box. That why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
The question.
Yeah, in the chat box.
Okay.
There was a question. Why didn't Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forgive Haridas, Chota Haridas?
Yeah, that's what I said in the slide. Whenever Krishna punishes, he has a reason. And even you find in Chota Haridas story, he was praised as a Gandharva and he was singing the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chota Haridas was praised as a Gandharva after his life. And he was still singing the glories of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu was very pleased with Chota Haridas Thakur singing. This is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in that sense, to set an example for the sannyasis, Mahaprabhu did that. Although many devotees were requesting Mahaprabhu to forgive Chota Haridas. But this is what I'm saying. Whenever Krishna punishes, he has a reason. He considers the responsible devotees. Not that Krishna is extremely merciful. Because as a sannyasi, Mahaprabhu had to set the standard for the sannyasis. If you commit such a mistake, you're forgiven. That is how Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you want the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, remember the stories of Chota Haridas always. So Mahaprabhu had to set the standards for us, especially for the sannyasis. Any other question?
Prabhuji, you said that any abominable action we cannot do, which Krishna will not forget. forgive, sorry. So we might take advantage of this in future. How can you answer that? And my second question is...
my point was... Okay. Second question.
And did Vyasadev stumbled or he was confused? In the starting, you mentioned that he stumbled.
Stumbled in the sense, basically, he was confused in that stumbling. He slips away because he didn't write a scripture purely dedicated for the pure devotion service, Srimad Bhagavatam, unless he got the direction from Narad Muni. That sense is stumbling. He wrote everything except the pure devotion. He has written about pure devotion service here in these latest literatures, but exclusively, it was not written. And your first question, I forgot your first question. I said what I said is, once a devotee took a seminar on living entity cannot commit such an abominable act where Krishna will leave him, not forgive him. See, living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. If Krishna rejects a living entities, what is his hope? He has nowhere to take shelter of. So Krishna repeatedly gives chances to living entities. I give you one example. Krishna speaks about those who are very sinful. I cast them inside the lower region of the hell again and again, birth and birth. Perhaps you have read this Shivami Ajarsam, that verse is there, where Krishna is saying, I cast those persons into lower region of hell again and again. And Vishwanath Chakravarti says, though Krishna is saying such words, it seems that Krishna is rejecting them, but it's such a it is as if like an angry parent or a father sometimes says to his child, oh, I'll throw you in the market, I'll lock in the toilet, I'll send you your grandparents in India or maybe in some other country. So it's like an angry father who's saying, but Krishna never takes away the agency from the living entities. He cannot leave the living entities. Though a person may be very sinful, but still Krishna is with him or her at every situation. It is not that Krishna will not forgive them. Krishna, it's up to Krishna. Krishna can consider always a response, but Krishna will never leave them. We may not forgive them. Krishna has a full right to punish as an angry father. So that way, Krishna will not leave the living entities anyway, because he has created them for a certain purpose, for his happiness, so that mutually they can have reciprocal relationship. Krishna tries to increase living entities' happiness, and a devotee tries to serve Krishna, which makes Krishna happy. So I think I hope I have answered your question. Krishna, not that Krishna will not cast them into low region and will never forgive them. Krishna punishes. Krishna didn't want to forgive Ashwatthama also. So whenever Krishna has to punish, he has to punish. So that's the way we can improve. Any other question?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Okay, it is already 8:30. I thank you so much for your patient hearing, and I seek blessing from all the devotees. May my mind be absorbed in Krishna's service and in the form of Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Rasala Prabhu. Thank you for the presentation. Yes, I think the ending note was very good. Maybe sometimes we do not understand the difference between punishment and forgiveness. It's very important to understand the difference. Forgiveness doesn't mean that one doesn't punish. When there is no forgiveness, it means that we keep a grudge. We keep a negative attitude towards the person. We become an enemy of that person. So we cannot forgive. We do not forgive. I will never forgive. We cannot forget. We cannot forgive. So we become inimical towards that person. That is the envious mentality. But to forgive does not mean that, okay, everything is okay, just forget about it. No, sometimes punishment is required. Because if we keep forgiving somebody repeatedly without punishment, the person will just understand that everything goes and I can just keep abusing all the time. So abusers have to be punished. But punishment, as we have heard, has to be administered with a purpose, the purpose of rectification. Punishment is a manifestation of mercy. So we have to understand this. Punishment is mercy, administered without any envy, with love, actually, like a father punishes the child. So to forgive doesn't mean not to punish. To forgive means to wish well to the person, not to keep a grudge, to remain a friend, to remain positive. And okay, so I wanted to make that comment. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Rasala Prabhu, for your brave presentation and all the slides. And thank you so much.
Yes, Madhuri, thank you so much. And this was my presentation work in Bhaktivedanta Council. Just try to share with them.
Okay, devotees. So everybody, please take inspiration, keep studying, and develop into wonderful presenters of philosophy for the benefit of the people. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
We did not